Did you know there are 3 things Vegirito reacts to? Blue Rose Sword, Night Sky Sword, and Alicization Explained. We finally got our teaser trailer from Anime Expo 2019 for the upcoming second half of Sword Art Online Alicization, the War of Underworld sub-arc, and goddamn I was not expecting them to show actual visuals from War of Underworld in this teaser, so we have a lot to talk about. Hey everyone, it's me Gamerturk and this is Alicization Explained, your best source of information aside from Argo the Rat on everything Sword Art Online. Okay, so it's been a while since the last Alicization Explained back when episode 24 aired, so let's get back into the format. As always, timestamps to individual plot points of this teaser trailer, and trust me, there are a lot of completely separate scenes and context in these scenes you can find in the description to skip ahead to a certain moment that may have sparked your attention. All of the new visuals we got in the trailer are from the first 2/3 of Volume 15, Alicization Invading, and despite the fact that they showed 4 or 5 different scenes in quick succession, it's not even half the contents of the story at that point, but I'm getting ahead of myself. If you're new to my Explained series, what I do here is essentially provide you all the vital information on characters, events, action, lore from the source material, light novels, things that the anime did not convey properly or just did not have the time to, which is not the case here because this is a teaser trailer, Jesus Christ, so you can still see the full picture. But then again, if you want to read the books for yourself for the amazing experience, Amazon and Book Depository affiliate links are in the description and the knowledge of Stacia awaits you there. But without further ado, first off, let me explicitly state that this video will remain spoiler free and I expect you, light novel readers, to respect that in the comment section as well. If you must talk about spoiler topics, provide a spoiler warning and give it a couple of blank lines so the content is pushed out of the preview. I'm not foxing, I actually do check comments and make sure it is safe for everyone. Secondly, if you're craving for more context on these scenes that goes into spoiler territory, I have a bunch of videos on that too, so go check them out after this, like what exactly happened to Kirito at the end of episode 24, how different of a story War of Underworld is, etc, those kinds of stuff. But the new teaser trailer starts with content from episode 24, the power surge hitting Kirito's STL along with the entire Underworld, and while the artificial floodlights remain safe due to the safety mechanics of the light cube cluster, Kirito's STL had its safety removed, so the pulse hits Kirito and, as vague as I can say, quote unquote, fries his floodlight in an intense case of incarnation. And then we get Volume 15 Alicization Invading content with Alice narrating the visuals. The events you see here are roughly 5 months after the Battle of the Central Cathedral. The entire contents of the teaser focuses in Underworld, even more specific, focuses on the village of Rulid, and let me tell you, that is a very small perspective of the full picture that you will get to experience once the anime actually goes live in October 2019. You can see Kirito is completely emotionless, or rather being more scientifically correct, he's simply not responsive to anything going on around him after the power surge, and you can even see that his right arm that got cut off during the battle is still absent, as Alice could not regrow the limb due to Kirito's condition. And to add, Alice even tried using healing arts on Kirito's brain too, but as you can imagine, healing a virtual avatar did nothing for the physical condition of Kirito that was in peril at this point in real life. Again, more information on that can be found in my What Happened to Kirito video, but this is as far as I'm going in this Explained. Seeing Kirito's blank eyes, we cut to the wheat fields of Rulid, and this is both a callback to the 3 kids having a good time on the hills visual from the Human Realm arc of Underworld, but also a treat for the light novel readers, as they will recognize this specific visual to be the beginning of War of Underworld. Much like the 2-page spread of the Rulid trio in Volume 9 Alicization Beginning that welcomes the readers to the Alicization arc, this visual mirroring that is once again the calm before the storm, welcoming the readers to the war. In this visual, I'll just use the light novel version for the time being because this one shot for some reason is extremely blurry in the teaser compared to everything else that's in there. Kirito is clinging to both the Blue Rose Sword and the Night Sky Sword. As mentioned earlier, his brain is utterly fried, so he has no cognitive behavior, but his basic instincts are more or less intact. He can breathe, he can eat or at least be fed by Alice, he sleeps at night, and certain instinctual emotions result in certain impulses as well. So every time Alice, who's acting as Kirito's carer, takes him out on his wheelchair, Kirito tries reaching for the 2 weapons hanging on the wall and refuses to go out without the 2. And if you're wondering, yes, much like Kirito's arm being absent, the Blue Rose sword is also still broken. It's just that both parts are stuffed back into the scabbard, so it looks like it's in one piece. It's not, it's the scabbard. Next up, we see Alice turning around, and to be frank, I'd be pulling stuff out of my ass if I knew exactly what this scene was. It's just a random, turning around scene, but I would not be surprised if it's one of the three options here. 1. Alice is once again in thoughts of the events that transpired in the Central Cathedral 5 months ago, how she fell unconscious, how she woke up, what dialogue she remembers from the time she was unconscious, and how they got out of the cathedral, as well as the states of the remaining Integrity Knights. 2. She simply recognized a familiar face approaching from far away, the one person from the Rulid village who did not shun her. Or 3. She's in the outskirts of Rulid and is looking at how much Rulid has expanded since the felling of Giga Cedar and some other events transpiring at that moment there that required her attention. We got a close-up of Blue Rose Sword's handle as well as the Night Sky swords in Kirito's grasp, nothing special, it's just a beautiful sword as always. Then we see Alice back in the log cabin where she's staying with Kirito outside of Rulid. This is either before they headed out or after they came back, as she's holding the Blue Rose sword again, either giving it over to Kirito or taking it back from him depending on the timing of this shot. We see visuals from the first OP shortly symbolizing Kirito and Eugeo's fight against the Axiom Church, of course, but Alice's narration here is key. That gives you an idea as to her current mental state. What in the world did we fight for, suffering such unbearable pain? As Alice clutches as tightly as she can to Kirito in their bed in the log cabin, crying. Many people take these kinds of scenes out of context because, SAO is a harem anime, yada yada, stupid arguments, etc. So let's get this cleared up right away in this explained video. Alice has no romantic feelings for Kirito, and the teaser could not make this clearer for you. The narration by Alice is all the proof you need here. You're simply seeing Alice trying to make sense of the impossible events she had witnessed back at the church. This brainwashed knight with no past, who learned that she lived a lie for years, found beacons of light to chase the truth with, yet lost them all in one battle, with only one person surviving, the one who resisted till the end for her sake, who was now an empty husk of himself. Alice is simply trying to find meaning in everything she had endured, but had been unable to answer the questions she had in her mind for 5 months, and realistically speaking, Kirito is the one answer she has that she simply isn't able to communicate with at this point. She's simply praying to reignite the spark she saw in his eyes 5 months ago back at the cathedral, any showcase of life to give her some hope that things may eventually be alright in the end and that he somehow would recover. They even showcased this in relation with even more visuals from the second opening attached to her narration here. But this brings us to the final scene, the first cut being incredibly fast that you would miss if you blinked. Alice in her night dress outside in the middle of the forest, looking towards smokes rising up from the Rulid village in the middle of the night in total shock. This is as far as the trailer goes in terms of chronology, which is around half of volume 15, when Alice is woken up by loud sounds and is faced with a huge fire behind the forest trees. She's shouting, which I'm assuming is for a very dear creature of hers in the near vicinity to aid her in the situation. If you're looking for more context as to what the fire is, however, that context is in the first teaser that we had right after episode 24 with Alice in her Integrity Knight armor opening her eyes. If you look at the background, that is the Rulid village, the center of the village in fact. It's the same opening, clearing area in front of the village church where she was taken away by Düsselbert Synthesis 7 all those years ago as a kid. But of course, more context with spoilers, you can check my other videos. There is a lot this trailer does not showcase. There are major events happening both in real life on Ocean Turtle as well as Dark Territory, all of which have as much focus as Alice and Kirito, if not more, for the duration of Volume 15 Alicization Invading. This Anime Expo teaser featured roughly the contents of, I assume, episode 26 and I'd say episode 28 and 29. But of course that is just a very rough assumption, not knowing how the anime will decide to pace the story as well as how it will structure the story overall, as Alicization Invading constantly switches perspectives and scenery, which I'm assuming the anime will shy away from to keep the narrative a little bit more focused there. But if you made it this far into the video, do comment "Time for Alicization Invading," as War of Underworld will start airing in October 2019 and the weekly Alicization Explained episodes will continue. In the meanwhile, I got more SAO content lined up for you. Like, did you ever wonder about the extensive backstory of Yuna and Eiji? How Yuna died back in Aincrad, for example? Well, I'll be answering that very soon, so make sure to subscribe and definitely hit the bell icon to get notified. If you're looking for some merch, I got some cool minimalist Quinella phone cases and stickers as a test run that you might enjoy. If you want to experience Alicization for yourself, I strongly recommend reading the novels. You can become a channel member for exclusive benefits like a special badge and emotes, among other things. And yes, all of those links can be found in the description. Thank you very much for watching. A special thanks to all my patrons and channel members as always. I'll see you next time. Until then, stay cool.